Hey guys, Chris Cook with Odyssey Training and Consulting. Thanks for watching. We're talking through the 4 rules of firearm safety and how they apply not only from being safe with guns in our home or on the range, but also employing guns for self-defense in real life. So like we talked about in the first video, which was the overview, rule number 1 is that we're going to be certain of the condition of the firearm at all times, and we always treat guns with respect. So right now we've got a gun that we're going to practice with, and we've also got some fake bullets, some dummy rounds that can't make the gun fire, that just kind of show us what's going on with the gun. So rule number 1, we need to be certain of the condition of the firearm at all times. We always treat guns with respect. So most people get taught treat all guns like they're loaded. Treat all guns like they're loaded. And that makes sense. We don't want to do something disrespectful or unsafe with guns, treat it like a toy, anything like that. And that makes sense to a lot of us. But we do know that guns can be mechanically unloaded like this one is right now, and we're going to need it to be mechanically unloaded for certain things that we do with it. A good example of that might be something like dry practice in your home, where with no bullets in the gun, you're practicing shooting the way that you want to shoot. We wouldn't do that and pull the trigger on a gun, even if it was aimed in a safe direction, and treat it like it was loaded. So it's kind of a little bit of a mental dissonance thing. So there's one reason I don't advocate for saying treat all guns like they're loaded. Another reason that I advocate for that, for not saying that, is because most of the time when people think about gun safety and gun accidents or you know, bad people getting hurt, they think of a scenario where there's a gun that's loaded that somebody doesn't think is loaded. They go to do something that they go to do unloaded gun stuff with it. They pull the trigger, and then a tragedy happens. And then you hear, I didn't think it was loaded. I didn't know it was loaded. Things like that. And that certainly makes sense. It's happened more than we care to admit. And we do our best to avoid that. The flip side can also be dangerous, where we have a gun that we think is loaded, but it's actually not. We go to do loaded gun stuff with it. We put this in a holster. We put this in a you know, on our duty belt or whatever, and we go to work with it, and we get the gun out. It's not loaded. We thought it was. We get it out of our safe for home defense. We thought it was loaded in there, and there's no bullets. And now we're in this dangerous situation with, you know, a big club in our hand. That can be equally as dangerous. So the idea that if we just treat it like it's loaded all the time, we're always going to be safe, we very well may end up in a situation where I think it's loaded, it's not loaded, and I rely on it. So I caution you against doing that. I would rather say be certain of the condition of the firearm at all times, and always treat guns with respect. So I want to, again, be certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the gun loaded or is the gun unloaded? So like you've already seen me do, if we put a magazine in the bottom and rack the slide, the gun's loaded. If I get some more dummy rounds here, more dummy rounds, put a magazine in the bottom, rack the slide, now the gun's loaded. We've got bullets in the magazine, and we've got a bullet in the chamber. To unload the gun, we take the magazine out of the bottom, and we rack the slide. Now the gun is unloaded, nothing in the bottom, nothing in the chamber. If we're in any doubt, we will manually and visually check the magazine and the chamber. If we're in any doubt, we manually and physically check both of those things so that we're certain that it's in the condition that we need it to be in. So guys, I don't necessarily think about it as a just treated all guns like they're loaded. I think it more of being certain of your equipment, being a professional with your equipment, and knowing the status of your stuff, and saying, yep, it's in the condition I need it to be in for whatever I'm about to do with it. So think about it maybe in a different way if you've only heard the traditional stuff, and see if that changes your thinking and your philosophy behind it. Thanks for joining, guys. Join the Odyssey.